Bienvenidos a la clase. Hoy vamos a continuar nuestro viaje a Puerto Rico por explorar un poquito la Universidad de la isla, la Universidad de Puerto Rico que se encuentra en, yo voy a decir San Juan. Pues vamos a visitar una clase de literatura. ¿Qué hay en la clase? What kinds of things are in the class? Pues, ¿qué es? So get out your vocab list. We're gonna go over vocab things. El o la estudiante. El papel. La puerta. So we have student, paper, puerta, door. El profesor o la profesora. La mochila, book bag or backpack. El libro, the book. El reloj, the clock or the watch. Clock and watch both have the same word in Spanish. El borrador, an eraser. It can also be a draft, right? El borrador de un ensayo, a draft of an essay, or it could be an eraser. I know sometimes you want to erase your entire draft, so there you go. La silla, chair. El mapa. La calculadora. La pizarra. ¿Qué es pizarra? It's a chalkboard. O la pizarra blanca, a whiteboard. La pluma. A pen. También se puede decir el bolígrafo. El bolígrafo. A pen as well. La ventana. Window. La mesa. A desk. Bien, pues aquí hay unas cosas. I want you to tell me what they are. Esto. La pizarra. El borrador. Y aquí, I didn't name this, but this is la tiza o el gis. Chalk. Aquí, la estudiante. La silla. We would say la mesa. I'd probably say el escritorio. So mesa is a table, escritorio is a desk. Y aquí tenemos anything else? Yeah. El libro. So we have a few more things here he could name. This would be el cuaderno y el lápiz. Well, there's the arrow. There you go. I'm not perfect, guys. As you'll see, I make many mistakes during these videos. But sometimes when I'm 10 minutes in, I'm not going to bother editing it. I'm not going back and re-recording it. So it just adds to the charm. La calculadora. La ventana. La puerta. Bien, vamos a practicar un poquito 2.1, 2.2. So in 2.1, I'm going to flip over to the textbook here. You're going to do word association. What thing does not fit? And add one thing that does for each number. So pause the video now and go for it. Muy bien. So number one, what doesn't fit? La tiza does not fit. And one thing that does, you can go ahead with that. Número dos. El cuaderno. The rest are writing instruments, right? El cuaderno no cabe. Número tres. El alumno. Alumno also means student, right? You can think of it as alumni. Well, that's a living object, the rest are not. Número cuatro. La mochila does not fit there. The rest are all things that hang on the wall. Cinco. Los auriculares. The rest are all paper objects. The auriculares are not. Número seis. This one's a little bit tough. The book says la calculadora, but you could also say escuchar doesn't fit either. I don't know, whatever. As long as you're thinking of what these mean. Number two, given that you're probably doing this in your house and in your rooms, you probably don't have things like proyectores, but you might have pizarras, libros, relojes. So en la aula, hay. And I, there's that word again. That means there is or there are, right? So make your sentences. So en la casa or en la sala hay however many sillas, etc., right? Let's go back to the slides. Ventana es el o la. So we already decided el is masculine, la is feminine. Es la ventana. Bolígrafo, el o la. El bolígrafo. Y esto es el masculino, que es el o un. El da un a, the definite and indefinite articles. Normally masculine in Spanish, words that end in o are almost always masculine, except for one, which is la mano, which I think is going to come up later. Words that end in o are el conductor or el profesor, Emma o Ena, el problema, el programa. And this is on page 33 in your book, right? And these are words that have Greek origins, and loan words from other languages tend to be masculine. Palabras que terminan con S, como el país, el autobús. The feminine, la, which is da, or una, which is a, words that end in a. La profesora, la cosa. But there are also a bunch of words that end in a that are masculine, right? A whole bunch of them. So as a rule, when you're remembering a new word, you got to remember the gender of that word. Palabras que terminan con ción. La canción, la conversación. Those are always feminine. Ción or sion. And yeah, we'll get to that later. Palabras que terminan con dad, la universidad, la nacionalidad, and also words that end in tad. Libertad, por ejemplo, liberty. Muy bien. Excepciones. Words that end in e can be either. So it's particularly important when you have a word that ends in an e to pay attention if it's masculine or feminine. Por ejemplo, el hombre, la clase. There's no pattern or no rule. They tend to be 60% masculine, 40% feminine, but that's almost 50-50, so that's not going to help you much. And other words, like el día, it ends in a, but it's masculine. La mano, ends in o, but it's feminine. La foto, la moto. So la foto and la moto, they look like they should be masculine, but they're actually short. So foto is short for fotografía. Oh, and all of a sudden it ends in a, so now we know why it's feminine, right? La moto, la motocicleta. That's a short form. That's why it's feminine. Y el tema, which we already went over. Muy bien. Pues tenemos aquí cuaderno. ¿Es el o la? El cuaderno. It ends in o, so we know it's probably masculine. Televisión. El o la? It ends in sion, so we know it's probably la. Niño, el o la. El niño, like the weather pattern, el niño, that's exactly where it comes from. It means the boy. La niña means the girl. Supposedly this year we're going to have a la niña. No. Yes, I think so. Don't quote me on that. Bolígrafo, el o la. El bolígrafo, masculino. Bandera, el o la. La bandera. Problema, el o la. El problema, one of those Emma words, right? We gotta pay attention to those. El problema. Coche, el o la. Well, looking at the ending doesn't help us. It ends in E, but this is el coche. Es masculino. Conversación, el o la. La conversación, because it ends in sion. País, el o la. El país. It ends in S, so it's probably masculine. Ooh, here we have a lot of cuadernos, right? El cuaderno becomes los cuadernos. So we already learned some of the pluralizing rules, right? So if it ends in a vowel, we just add an S. El changes to los. So el cuaderno becomes los cuadernos. So here we have televisión. So we have la televi. I don't even know why I'm doing that. Okay. La televisión becomes las televisiones. So the la changes to las. And because it ends in a noun, in a consonant, we add es to pluralize it. You're also going to notice something interesting here. The O loses its accent. Remember when I said the sion always has an accent over the I? Or over the O, rather. So when you pluralize it, siones, you're going to get rid of the accent when it's pluralized. El niño becomes, él becomes los, niño becomes niños. El niño, los niños. El bolígrafo, so él becomes los, bolígrafo becomes bolígrafos. El país, él becomes, no, that's not país, it's bandera. La bandera, la becomes las, bandera becomes banderas. Problema, él becomes los problemas. El coche, los coches. La conversación, las conversaciones. Remember, we're also dropping that accent when we pluralize it, right? El país, los países. El lápiz, so we have el lápiz. We actually did go over this. So the el is going to become los lápiz. Oh, remember when I said the Z changes to a C? Los lápices. So when words end in Z, you have to be careful with them. There's also luz, which is light, lápiz, and a few other words that I'm probably forgetting right now. In the book, they only have lápiz, so. De práctica, vamos a hacer 2.4 y 2.5. Esto va a ser muy fácil. So 2.4, let me get back to my textbook. Here we go. So we're going to look at the picture. So here we have a diagram of her book bag, and we're going to say what there are and what there are not. Another note here, right? So we have el changes to los to pluralize, la changes to las, and these all mean the. Remember we said un and una mean a. We can pluralize that. Like in English, we say, I have a book. How do we say how do we pluralize that? We would pluralize that by saying some, right? Because it's indefinite. We're not saying a specific amount. We would say unos and unas. A, some. Muy bien. Pues vamos a ir. Pues en la mochila de Sara, ustedes van a hacer una frase según cada uno. So plumas, right? So let's take a look at the plumas. Does she have any pens in her book bag? Yeah, she definitely has 2 pens. So we're going to say sí, comma, there are some pens. Unas plumas, right? Unas plumas. Unas plumas. There are some pens. Hay unas plumas. Muy bien. So pause the video now. I want you to go through 2 through 5. Muy bien. Number 2. So we have computadora portátil, right? A laptop. So we have a laptop right there. Do we have some laptops? No, we only have one. So we're going to go with una, because it's just a laptop. Sí, hay una computadora portátil. Número 3, lápices, or lápiz. Yeah, we see 2 in there, so we're going to go, we know it's un lápiz, but it's some, right? Because she has more than one, so unos lápices. Libros. I don't see any books in there, actually. No books at all. She must... Oh, wait, is that a book? Yeah, that's one book. Yeah, that's a book right there. Never mind. There's only one book. There's not some books. Well, is that a book? That looks more like a binder. Let's say there are 2 books. Sí, hay unos, there are some books, libros. Celular. Is that a celular? That is a celular. Some of these drawings are horrid, but there's only one, right? Hay un celular. There's only one. Muy bien. Vamos a continuar con, we're going to skip all this to 2.5, en mi cuarto. So I want you to pause the video, and here in the blanks, you're going to use the definite or indefinite article and the correct number and gender for agreement. So pause the video, and then we'll go over it. Muy bien. I'm actually going to flip over here where I have some space to write. Mi cuarto está bien equipado para estudiar. Hay un escritorio. We know it's masculine, and we have the choice between un and el. So think about what we would say in English. My bedroom is well equipped to study. There is, would you say the desk or a desk? You probably say a desk, right? There is a desk, etc., etc. So that's why we use the indefinite. We use un instead of una. If in doubt, think about it in English, and you'll probably get it right. Un escritorio, una silla, una computadora, unas ventanas. Muy bien. There is a book, a chair, a computer, and some windows. Keep going. El o un escritorio es grande. So let's think about it in English. Will we say a desk is big? No, because we're talking about the specific desk in your room. We would say the desk is big. So el escritorio es grande y la silla es muy cómoda. And that chair is comfortable. Hay un problema. Again, think about it in English. There is a problem or there is the problem. A problem, of course, because we're not specifying the problem. No hay una impresora. There is not a printer, or there is not the printer. There is not a printer, right? En el cuarto. In the room. Pero hay un or el. There is a laboratory, computer lab, or the computer lab. Probably going to say un laboratorio, ¿no? Un laboratorio instead of the computer lab. Muy bien. So, for tarea, you can do 2.1, 2.2, and 2.6. You're well equipped to do that. And that was our lesson for today. Nos vemos la semana que viene.